Matt from Theater and Stream, and this is another Minisode. Today I'm going to be talking about what theaters can do to keep people going to the movies. It's 2025. COVID is a distant memory at this point. The Hollywood strikes have all been resolved. There are no more convenient excuses for why theaters are losing money, and yet they continue to do so. Why is this happening? Well, there's three main reasons. One is that inflation has made frivolous entertainment spending untenable for a lot of people. Two, streaming has diluted the value of a singular movie. And three, there have been shifting generational attitudes towards movies as a primary source of entertainment. That third one that I just mentioned, that is what we are going to be focusing on today. Basically, the fact is that millennials, they were the last generation to experience a childhood completely devoid of smartphones and phone-based social media. Now, I don't really say this for any particular reason because we all know that smartphone and social media addiction, it is not exclusive to young people. It is not exclusive by your age. I've been in a movie theater and I've seen a 60-year-old woman pull her phone out in the middle of a movie so that she could play her daily slot machine game credits. I've seen like a 30-something-year-old mom at Avengers Endgame just take her phone out as soon as the movie started, and then when somebody told her to put it away, she opted instead to go to the lobby so that she could keep scrolling and then leave her kid all by himself in the theater. You know, this sort of self-centered antisocial behavior, it's really not limited by age. But there is something that is exclusive to younger generations. And for the sake of simplicity, we'll say Gen Z and Gen Alpha. And so that is basically people born roughly between 1995 and the present day. And these people, they grew up with phones in their hands. Their primary form of entertainment, it's all social media based, whether that be the endless scroll of TikTok, the never-ending recommendation page of YouTube, the unlimited feed of Twitter. They see film and TV as sort of just background noise. You know, a TV show is something that you turn on when you eat dinner. It's something that you put on in the background while you're looking at your phone. It's something that you throw on while you're doing chores. And so, you know, you put these same people in a movie theater, and then for 2 hours, you give the expectation that you don't check your phone for your notifications. Do we really wonder why theaters are falling out of style? I think there is a little bit of hope, though. And this is a bit of a curling monkey's paw situation. You've probably seen all the headlines and the videos about the various disruptive and annoying theater trends that have happened recently. Most recently, it was people filming the crowd reaction during the chicken jockey scene during the Minecraft movie. But we also had like people filming or live streaming themselves while they were singing along with Wicked songs. There was groups of girls who were dancing in the aisles and singing at the screen during the Taylor Swift concert movie. You had teenage boys dressing up in suits and throwing bananas at the screen during Despicable Me 4, during the Gentle Minions trend. And, you know, this even goes all the way back to Barbie and Oppenheimer, when they came out on the same day, and people used the hashtag Barbenheimer to let people know that they were seeing both movies on the same day. So, you know, what do all these movies have in common? Well, they successfully got younger generations to come to the movie theaters through this creation of organic viral moments. You know, these people, they hope that they too can participate in the trend, whatever that trend is. They document it, they share it online, they get their pop of dopamine from the likes or the hearts or whatever. There's no actual gratification gained from experiencing the movie. It's just really about letting other people know that you did experience it. And so, you know, what are theaters to do? You know, do you just let these things happen? You let the experience be ruined in exchange for more butts and seats and basically what amounts to free publicity? Do you count your money in one hand while scolding disruptive patrons with the other? The big problem here, the inherent problem, is that theaters have no control over what movies go viral and then which ones don't. It's something that has to happen naturally, and anytime it doesn't, you can kind of smell the desperation. And so, like, just a week ago, theaters across the US, they held showings of the 2022 horror movie Megan. And this is kind of to get people excited for the sequel, which is coming out this summer. But as a way to draw in younger audiences, attendees, they were encouraged to actually use their smartphones during the movie to message a Megan AI program throughout the movie. Audience members, they were promised a personalized experience with this Megan AI program, and it was going to enhance the movie. But actually, what ended up really happening was that most people in these very sparsely attended screenings, they didn't even use their phones. They chose instead to just watch the movie normally. And then the people that actually did choose to use their phones to interact with this Megan AI were basically met with a glorified chatbot that sort of just spouted random movie trivia and could only really reply to multiple choice questions. So, I'm sorry to say, theater owners, but this is really not something you can force. I think the best you can hope for is that it's just something that happens more often with the big movies. And I don't know, I guess you can just hope that your theaters don't turn into like a full-blown Indian cinema. And, for the record, this type of shit is like my worst nightmare when it comes to movie going. I pretty much oppose everything that I've talked about today just across the board. But I think the question that you have to ask is, in the next decade or the next 15 years, when you're faced with two probabilities, number one, the extinction of movie theaters, or number two, the relaxing of etiquette policies, what do you choose? Would you rather that theaters just stick around, but it's a worse experience, or are you just going to watch everything at home? I guess in the meantime, I'm going to continue going to movies at 10 in the morning to avoid any possibility of inadvertently participating in whatever the next chicken jockey moment is. But, that's going to be it for me today. Chuck and I, we will be back again next week, together again, for another podcast episode where we are going to discuss the latest buzzy horror film, Clown in a Cornfield. Thanks.